everybody, it's Stasha Eriksen. I hope you're all doing well today. Well, it is November 25th of 2016. I hope all Canadians and Americans had an amazing Thanksgiving Day yesterday. I forgot to mention it. When I'm in Norway, I completely forget about American holidays, and I also tend to get a little bit homesick for holidays that I can't celebrate over here in Norway. So I was a little homesick and sad to not be with all of my family yesterday in California. But I hope that all of you had an amazing Thanksgiving Day. Well, there's so much going on in the news right now that I was going to do one news report a week, and this is already my fifth news report in 2 weeks. So there's a lot going on out there. And again, I'm never going to report the news that's super obvious that everybody else is reporting. I'm trying to look for the hidden meanings kind of in between the news stories and, search for the bigger picture. I'm a bit of a decoder on this journey, and I'm always trying to look and see what messages we can receive behind the words that are presented to us. So I don't want to get too sidetracked with a lot of the other news stories that I saw this week. I do just want to pick up where I left off and what I promised to all of you yesterday, which was to do part 2 of the Economist magazine's 2017 cover. Now, if you have not seen the video that I posted before this, please check that one out first, as this is part 2 of the Economist magazine cover breakdown. And I really appreciate those of you who watched part 1 yesterday and left me feedback. There is a lot of theories as to what the symbolism of this magazine represents. And my stance on all of this is that I am a tarot reader. I've been doing tarot readings for a very long time. And when I immediately saw this magazine cover, I instantly read it as a tarot reader, not as somebody who's trying to decode the messages behind it. Now, I did yesterday also give you my own kind of intuitions and clues that I felt were also drawn on the card, but I wanted to look past the obvious and look for the deeper meaning within all of these cards. So we went through cards 1 through 4 yesterday, and now today we are going through the next row of cards, which is 4 through 8. Now, one of the things that I wanted to say, and I forgot to mention yesterday, was why is there a reading of 8 cards? Now, I did mention that when you have cards separated into 2 rows like that, that one row will usually represent one thing, and the second row will represent one thing, and another thing. Maybe one could be the past and one could be the future. But I noticed it was strange that there was 8 cards, because you usually don't pull 8 cards for a reading. There's many different tarot reading spreads that exist. The Celtic Cross, there's a past, present, future spread, which is 3 cards. There's all different types of spreads, but I've never seen 2 rows of 4 cards in a row like that. So now the only thing that I could really pick up on when I noticed this, and again, this is my intuition as a tarot reader, what this stands for to me, and as I see it, is this stands for 8 years of a Trump presidency. Yep, 8 years of a Trump presidency and 8 cards before us. And if you just scan the 8 cards and you look at them as each card representing one of the years of his presidency, it begins to make a lot of sense. Particularly the first card. The first card would represent the first year that he was in office. That's the Tower. That's what we're going through right now. And I have a feeling this division and arguing and separation will probably take about a year before it calms down again. Obviously, due to how everybody's been reacting to the election results. I've been quite shocked at the reactions from everybody, to be totally honest. But you could look at it that way. His first year, 2017, could be represented by the Tower. His second year, 2018, could be represented by the Judgment card when he has taken control over the new system that he's created. His year 3 of 2019 could easily be the World card, where when he's made change and he implements them to spread out to arts, media, education. And then year 4 is the Hermit card, which really starts to make sense to me, because year 4 would be when his next re-election would take place. And what would happen with another re-election but a bunch of protesting? So in the Hermit card, we see all the protesters down on the ground and Trump up in the high tower avoiding yet another fiasco, because I'm sure when he gets reelected, everyone will freak out yet again. And then we can look at the next four cards. Death. Death means the end of a bunch of BS and the beginning of something new. So those next four cards, Death, the Magician, Wheel of Fortune, and the Star, really could easily represent the next 4 years after his reelection. So for me to sit down and break down all four of those will take a really long time. So let's just get right into these next four cards. Now again, that's just a theory that I have. I don't like to make predictions. I get intuitions and I have visions, but I never make predictions, because the minute you predict something, someone in the universe knows you predicted it and they will change it. And this happens a lot. That's why I tell psychics, don't make predictions. We have free will, and there's also many beings out there that don't follow the laws of universal law. And when they don't follow the laws of universal law, then normal things will not occur in the pattern that they're meant to occur. Things will be disrupted, if you will. So, hope that makes sense. Okay, now let's get to card number 5. This is the Death card. Now, of course, everybody, when they see the Death card, they freak out. They're like, oh my God, what's happening? Here it looks like there's some type of a nuclear weapon. You can see locusts in the air. You can see pestilence in the sea, the dead animals. You can see Death riding on the white horse. And it looks pretty scary to everybody. But as a tarot reader, I know that Death is one of the most positive cards in the tarot deck. People think that might sound crazy, but let me explain to you a little bit about what the Death card truly means. Now, Death card is probably the most feared and misunderstood of all of the cards in the tarot deck. Just the mention of the card's name has people shaking in their boots. In general, people tend to take the meaning of this card far too literally and fear the indication is for death of either themselves or for others. But relax. The card of Death can be one of the most fruitful and positive cards in the whole tarot deck. So there you go. Now, Death is symbolic of the ending of a major phase or aspect of your life that may bring about the beginning of something far more valuable and far more important. You must close one door in order to open another. You need to put the past behind you and part ways, ready to embrace new opportunities and possibilities. It might be difficult to let go of the past at times, but you will soon see how important it is, so that you can bring renewal and transformation into your life. If you resist these necessary endings, you may experience pain, both emotionally and physically. But if you exercise your creative imagination and visualize a new possibility, you allow more constructive patterns to emerge. Similarly, Death indicates a time of significant transformation, change, and transition. You need to profoundly transform yourself and clear away the old in order to bring in the new. Any change at this time should be welcomed as positive, cleansing, transformative force in your life. The Death and clearing away of limiting factors can open the door to a wider, more satisfying experience of life. That is what the Death card truly means. Now, if the Economist magazine did not mean for that card to represent that, they wouldn't choose a Death tarot card. If these are lesser magicians using lesser magic, they know what these cards mean. Death is positive. So all the things that I see in that Death card, the nuclear war, the locust, the pestilence, everything, I see that stuff coming to an end. I see the end of death and destruction happening in that card. And if it is signified by how many years, if 5 years from now we're at peace and all this war and shit comes to an end, then hallelujah is what I say. Okay, now let's move on. Remember, guys, we have to focus on the positive. We are the creators of this reality. Our consciousness projects and creates this reality out in conjunction with our actions. So let's start thinking positive and look on the bright side. Now, the 6th card in the reading is the Magician. Now, this Magician card is obviously different from the original, but what I see here is I see the Magician has his wand up in the air. and his left hand is on a 3D printer. It looks to me like they're 3D printing houses, and at the same time, he is wearing a virtual reality mask. Well, I have seen these 3D printers in action. In fact, my stepson has just asked for a 3D doodler, 3D printing pen for Christmas, and I could not believe this stuff. I saw this 3D doodle pen, and this is something for kids. It is blowing my mind, this 3D printing. It's just a little $50 toy that you put plastic into, and you can make Eiffel Towers and robots and all kinds of stuff. So if 3D printing is now in the hands of little kids, do you not think that they could 3D print houses? In fact, one of the upcoming news stories I'm going to have is about the fact that we've just released our first 3D printed car. Yeah, it was about a week ago. The first 3D printed car that actually drives is out there. So this could just be, a look into the future. Virtual reality is already here. 3D printing is already here. So the magician, he is going to keep this game going. He's going to keep this experiment going. The magician also can be represented by God in this card. That's why often you'll see Jesus with his one hand up and one hand down. Now you'll also see the Baphomet doing that, but it's also a representation of God. So I feel like the man behind the curtain is going to keep the ball rolling for all of us. So let's read a little bit about what the magician actually means. Now, the magician tarot card typically appears in a tarot reading at a time in your life when you have had the creative power and energy to create a new life cycle for yourself. You have the ability to take the power of the universe and manifest your desires. It also suggests that a situation has been or soon will be presented to you that has all the inherent components to allow the manifestation of your desires. These desires may be spiritual, physical, emotional, or mental, and they are each aligned with the 4 elements of the tarot. And in this message overall, it tells you that you have the ability to make anything happen. You're inspired to apply skills and initiative to accomplish all of your goals. You have a strong desire to begin something new, to do, to act, or to go forth. You have a can-do attitude and a strong sense of optimism, and this will dominate a new beginning, and thus the decisions you make will have positive results. The Magician card sees you creating success in every single thing that you do. This is a card about manifesting your goals by utilizing the skills, tools, and resources that are available to you. The Magician suggests that you will come up with creative ways to solve problems, and you will be able to use your existing knowledge and networks to arrive at solutions. That makes me think, hey, if we're having a problem, we need housing, we could just 3D print houses by bulk. You know how many homeless people there are in the world? We can use the technology that we've created to make something better. And also, lastly, the Magician Tarot card is a good omen. When you have a specific wish, when you begin a project involving creativity, or when you need to make a transformation of any kind. This is a great card for meditation when you need to call all of the elements for help and wisdom. So that's what this is all about. It's about new beginnings. It's about being creative. It's about creating with the tools that we have around ourselves. So I hope this is an indication of, hey, we got all this great technology. Let's stop using it for evil nanobot projects and experiments. Let's use this to change the world. We have homeless people all over this planet, and we need to give them housing. So if we can 3D print houses, then I say go for it. Okay, now let's go to number 7, the Wheel of Fortune. Now this one, as we can see on the Wheel of Fortune here, it's not looking so good for the 3 people on that wheel. To me, it looks like Angela Merkel in red. It possibly looks like France, and it looks like 2 people from France and Germany. Looks like they're all on that wheel there. There's 2 ballot boxes down at the bottom. It looks like there is some type of voting fraud that could be going on. I also see the lightning bolt again in this card. Now what the lightning bolt symbolizes in Tarot is about truth coming to light. So if these 3 lads on the Wheel of Fortune have been doing something they shouldn't have, I see the Wheel of Fortune spinning in the direction of the favor of the people they have done harm to. The Wheel of Fortune will spin in the direction of positivity, but it will also cause a downfall for those who have caused the negativity. So I believe in this card number 7, Wheel of Fortune, there will be some truths coming to light about the European leaders in European countries. And again, voting fraud seems to be on the horizon. I've already seen some voter fraud claims that just came out of France not so long ago, so this may already be coming to pass. Okay, now let's just read a little bit about what the actual definition of the Wheel of Fortune is. It's pretty hardcore, this card. It's a lot of info on the Wheel of Fortune, but I'll just read what I believe is the most important factor. The wheel represents karma, and it reminds you that what goes around comes around. In the upright position, you are likely to be at the positive end, but again, do not become complacent. You still need to act in ways that are fundamentally good to ensure that luck or positivity stays on your side. So it's just like I said, the wheel can turn in a positive direction for those who have put positive energy and efforts out into the world. But for those of you who have been negative, the wheel of karma will turn against you. This is again just universal law, the natural laws of the universe, the cycle of life. So I see there may be some karma coming back to some of these European leaders that have been in conjunction with many of the crooked American leaders too. But from what I know, there's just a lot more that's going to come to the surface. So I see that as a little bit of justice coming to the European people who have been harmed by some of these European leaders. Okay, now my favorite card in the tarot deck is actually known as the Star. That is the 8th card in this reading, and it is also the 8th card in the tarot deck. 8 is also my lucky number. It's, represents new beginnings. We also have 8 depicted in the Magician card above his head. There's always an infinity symbol above the Magician's head, which shows that, he's an infinite being. His healing and creative possibilities are limitless and endless. He doesn't need robots to create this planet or 3D printers, but it's a representation of what he can do. So we have the Star card here, and this is by far the strangest card I've ever seen. There are 14 heads inside of the suns on the Star card. Apparently nobody can zoom in close enough to be able to see who they are, but to me it looks like children or possibly even high school yearbook photos. One weird thing I have to say is that when I saw a picture of John Podesta holding his 2 hands up, I noticed that in one hand he had written the number 14. And I don't know if that meant that he had sacrificed 14 children or whatever, but when I saw that Star card and I saw there was 14 children's heads on there, I just felt like there may be some type of a connection with, unfortunately, pedophilia and child trafficking. That I feel like the answers and the truth about that will finally come to light, and that there will be some justice for the children who have been hurt. But what the Star card really represents is actually something very, very positive. And it's not to say that what I just mentioned isn't positive, because if pedophilia and child trafficking is a thing and it comes to light, then that begins healing. I don't want anybody to have to talk about this stuff right now. It's terrible that there is pedophilia happening, especially with people of power. I mean, as a mother, it makes me so sick, physically sick to my stomach to even watch some of these videos about spirit cooking and about Comet Pizza and about these pedophile rings. But if it's exposed, this isn't a really good thing, because we can heal and we can stop this mess. So that's just one little random intuition I got from staring at that card. But I want to get back to focusing on the positive of what the Star card represents. Now, the Star card represents renewed hope and faith and a sense that you are truly blessed by the universe at this time. Courage, fulfillment, and inspiration are in your life. You are entering a loving phase into your life, filled with calm energy, mental stability, and deeper understanding of both yourself and the others around you. This card is saying to you that over the long term, you should have faith and trust in the universe. A better future is waiting for you, but in order to reach it, you must trust that it is indeed possible. And really, what's kind of funny about this is that this reading started with the Tower card and ended with the Star card. Now, it also basically follows the Tower card. Yeah. It follows the Tower, and the meaning of the Star Tarot card suggests that you have endured life's challenges and have been through a difficult time, but you are now open to healing and transformation. Your ability to let go of damaging memories has been strengthened by contact with your true self through these difficult times. Hatred, envy, bitterness, and revenge have burned themselves out and no longer shadow your life or get in the way of your potential for future happiness. You are now able to forgive and also forget so that you can embrace new opportunities. And that really does sound to me like the voice of these children, that these children have been abused. It's saying, hey, there's going to be healing now. You can let go. You can forgive your abusers. You don't have to forget. You don't have to even excuse what these abusers have done to you, but you have to forgive and let go. And when lies and falsehoods and sneakiness like this is exposed, this is how we heal. They can't continue to get away with treating human beings like this anymore. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. I don't think this is a human battle at all. I think this is a spiritual battle. Yes, all these guys are cloaked in human skin, but this really honestly feels like a human versus demon fight, a war that's been going on since the beginning of creation, since the fall. Again, this is what the Freemasons celebrate most. They celebrate the fall of humanity. Their favorite person is Eve. They are so happy that Eve took a bite of that apple because humanity fell. Humanity fell, and they could blame it on her. This is part of the reason why women have been so oppressed for so long. Now, I'm not a feminist. In fact, feminists really make me sick to my stomach because they're just as hypocritical as a matriarch guy or a patriarchal man. But women have been suppressed since the beginning of time. Just look at the story of Mary Magdalene. Oh, man. People still want to say she doesn't even exist, but she's even in the version of the King James Bible that was left behind. So, you know, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more beneath the surface. So we can't celebrate the fall of humanity. We need to celebrate the rise of humanity, the rebuilding of humanity, and the growth of humanity. And just like the Star card says, with forgiveness, we grow. So learn to forgive, and you will watch your soul grow exponentially, almost overnight. So these were my impressions of the Economist 2017 magazine, all 8 tarot cards. And I hope this gave you a little different perspective. I've watched almost everybody's breakdown on the video, and I think this might be the only video that I've seen that's really tried to read this like a tarot reading, rather than get lost in the symbols. In fact, I've seen all the other Economist covers and I've tried to decode them, and this was the first one that I was able to get almost instantly. So I'm really glad that it was a tarot card cover, because it helped me to look behind the pictures on the cards and look at the deeper meaning. And I tell you what, guys, overall, this magazine cover shows a lot of hope, a lot of change, and a lot of new beginnings. This is the same vision that I had in January of this year when I saw Donald Trump winning. I saw major upheaval afterwards, but then I saw this beautiful, blessed rebuilding of humanity, of our planet. This is the awakening. This is what we have been waiting for. So embrace the changes. It's about time things changed. So let's enjoy it and let's do our part. And stay positive. So I'm sending you guys so much love and peace. Actually, a few of you asked me, why aren't you in Ireland? I was supposed to be leaving to Ireland yesterday on Thanksgiving, but I have not heard from the Irish Immigration Department. I've been contacting them since the day I arrived back from California, and they are really behind on their immigration applications. So unfortunately, I could not leave to Ireland yesterday. So I am still here in Norway, at least for the next month. I think the Irish Immigration Department may have even gone on holidays a little early. I got a receipt and confirmation that they were working on my case, but it can be anywhere from like 1 to 3 months. So for those of you who are asking, I am still here in Norway and I will be able to stay for 1 month. I will at least be able to stay through Christmas. So I'm really excited about that. I'm super sad I won't have my first Christmas with my kids in many years. They're grown up and far away now, but it will be really nice to stay here at home, in my own home here in Norway with my husband and my stepson and my Norwegian family. So thank you to all of you who asked, and also thank you to all of you who ordered tarot readings from me yesterday. For those of you who don't know, I actually do tarot readings, very extensive. I do a 12-card tarot reading that overlooks your next 12 months. Again, not predictions, but suggestions and intuitions to help guide you along your next year. And I do those on a website called Fiverr, and the cost is just $10. So if you felt that this, my interpretation of this reading helped you to look on the positive side and rather on the negative side, and you would like to try a tarot reading with me, I will leave the link to my Fiverr profile in the description box below, and feel free to stop by and get a reading from me. I get a little busy sometimes, but now that I'm not heading off to Ireland today, I've got a lot of free time. And hey, it's 30 days till Christmas to everybody, so happy almost Christmas. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you're all with your friends and family and those that you love. Again, I'll be back with some Mandela Effect videos soon. Now that I don't have to hop on the plane, I will get this Mandela Effect book done. The release date was hopefully going to be Christmas, so I have to hustle. But I just want to let you guys know that that is still happening. If you have any information on the Mandela Effect and you'd like to be featured in my upcoming novel, please check the Mandela Effect playlist on my YouTube channel here. There's about 10 videos. Check them out for information on how you can be included in this research novel. It is sweeping the nation and changing the world, and I'm very excited to be able to compile it into a written work for all of you to learn from. Okay, so I'm sending you all so much love and peace from Norway, and I will be back with more news, because if they won't report it, then I will.